What is up, boys? Coming at you with another video. This video is going to be on the sock shop. What I buy in the sock shop, what I would buy on my first sock shop, and all that good stuff. I get a ton of questions on this. It is not super complicated, so no worries, boys. Just gonna run through it real quick. Gonna go through everything in here, when I would buy it, why I would buy it. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please drop a like, a comment, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. And if you guys want to get more notifications when you go live, make sure you join the Discord in the description below. So let's get right into it. I value a legendary commander sculpture somewhere around 700 gems. I value a material choice chest around 2,400 gems. VIP shop is just about like some of the most efficient materials you can possibly get. So if you can ever get better than that, you generally want to pick it up, right? So if I value one of these bad boys at 2,400 gems, and I value one of these bad boys at 700 gems, it is not difficult to see which one of these is going to be the better deal generally. So every KVK with your first KVK, for me, I can get around 520,000 crystals, something like that. Let's say you're not me and you're free to play. I would hazard a guess to maybe 400,000 at least. Not too crazy. If I were just starting, these are both pretty valuable compared to everything else in the shop. If I value these at 700 apiece, so this would be 350 gems worth for 5,000, or I could get 1,200 gems worth for 10,000. So 350, so we multiply this by 2 to get us to 700 value. So this might give us a 700 value for 5,000, but this is still going to give us a better value. And even this is going to give us a better value because we value this at 2,400 gems, and we value this proportional value only at 2,100 gems for the same amount. Also, you're going to find yourself getting way more legendary sculptures than you're going to be finding materials and blueprints. So it is really, really important that you focus on materials. If it is your first KVK, your first season of Conquest KVK, and you don't have a pairing of legendary commanders, or maybe you're working on your second pairing and you have a surplus of materials and good gear and not enough heads, then picking up these half-off heads are probably not a bad idea. I'd be very, very careful about picking off these. 18 sculptures for the same price that a ring or a horn has is honestly kind of crazy. 8 for 40,000, I can kind of get behind. Over here, the transmutation stones, I don't know about these. Like, I don't know how much I would value them. I'm willing to spend 15,000 for 2,400. So over here, 5 of these. So shop would value these at about like 400 to 500 gems a piece. It's probably okay. I might find myself buying these regardless. I don't know how good they are necessarily, just because like these are some of the most raw dog painful RNG ever. If you have extra, maybe not the worst place to get them. Only 30,000 for 10 is not a bad deal. Over here you have like the skins available. We have Twilight Falls, we have Divine Abode, we have Persian Dream, we have Flight of the Heron, and we have St. Peter's Basilica. It's very important to note that this Archer attack skin really sucks. You should basically never ever pick this up under any circumstances. It's important to note that this skin is not that bad, right? 10% infantry attack for minus 5% cav and Archer. Okay, it's an okay skin. If you're not an infantryman, which nobody should, there's not a huge reason to run it, right? Like, why would you want to run this skin over another if you only have like 2 infantry marches? So I wouldn't buy this one either. The only skin outside of the last one I'm going to talk about that you could consider justifying is probably Divine Abode, just because like there are some players, like if you're going to be a main for anything, you'd want to be a main for cav. So if you were running like 4 cav marches, I'm sure there's some kind of justification in there. But the same token, would I want 10% cav defense, or would I want the Crowning King Twilight Falls? This is probably the only skin worth buying, in my opinion, in the opinion of most other people. If you ever see people in the open field, they almost always have this, and it is no shocker why. 5% skill damage for 5 to 7 marches is really strong. I know some people are running like Scipio LC or Gorgo LC, and that march isn't going to benefit from skill damage, but for everybody else, they will. Really, really hard to see me wanting to run a 5 march without this skin. This is not something you should be aiming for in your first like 1 to 2 socks, but maybe like sock 3 or 4 with like the extra coins you get per season. Not a bad idea to pick up Twilight Falls. But this is like something you pick up way later. This is not your first. First, you're picking up materials, potentially half-off sculpts. You're thinking about transmutation stones at the end of the KVK. Down here, these 2 things you need to pick up every single time. Every single march you have is going to have a Ring of Doom, and most marches should probably have a Horn of Fury. So me, I have 5 rings for my 5 marches. I probably won't be able to unlock 6 marches consistently, so there's not a huge reason for me to get any more. Horn of Fury, on the other hand, you don't necessarily have to have 5, but it's not a bad idea. Every single KVK, I would generally hazard a Ring of Doom and a Horn of Fury. Once you have 3 Horns of Fury, then you can perhaps consider picking up other things. Over here, you have Greatest Glory. I know there's some kind of synergy here with Gorgo and LC. I'm not super comfortable with this just in general. It's not a bad pickup specifically for Gorgo LC. Just if that ever falls out of the meta, you're just kind of sitting under Greatest Glory that doesn't really have anywhere to go. Ring will always be good, Horn will always be good. Dagger you should not pick up from here because Dagger you can get anywhere else. Skullus' Lucky Coin is one of the single worst pieces of equipment to ever grace this game. Mora's Web, if you have 7 marches, I believe, or 6, perhaps this could be used in tandem with a Dagger. Some people think it's better. I think it's generally better in like lower seeds, maybe like C seed or D seed, where you have fewer players fighting. And because of the smaller murder balls, if you're a bigger player, you're going to be able to apply more debuffs before you kill a target. Food for thought, I generally wouldn't be focusing on this, or this, or this, or this. So, and last one, Vengeance, I wouldn't look at this either. The only 2 things you should really be looking at all is going to be Ring and Horn, and you should be buying them both generally every KVK. You want at least 3 horns, you want at least 5 rings. Down here, you've got your avatar frames and your name plaques. You ignore them because you are a player with a brain, and we are not picking up cosmetics. Topkapi Palace. For 6 coins, this is psychotic. I believe this gives you the equivalent of 130 gems per day. Yeah. No, just no. 6 of these coins is crazy, not a good pickup. In terms of these blueprints are not all great, but not all bad. So things I don't really care about. I don't really care about Hammer of the Sun and Moon for infantry. It's a good pickup, but when you compare it to the fact that you should probably have a 4-piece imp set or just a Gatekeeper shield, it's not that big of a deal. It is a good pickup, and with the reduction on materials for it, it is much better than it used to be. There's just not a big reason to. But these pieces in general, with all the material reductions it takes to build them, are way, way more cost effective than they used to be. The number 1 that I'd be looking for is going to be Pride of the Con. This is awesome. We love this. 15% cab defense. It's better than the cab set helm. You should be running this on every cab arch that you have. On the flip side is Sacred Dominion for cavalry. Not bad, but not great. When you consider that they already have Heart of the Saint, which is it 17% cab defense? Sacred Dominion it's a jump. I believe it trades better, but it doesn't trade that much better, and it's 4x the price, so not a great thing to pick up. Over here, we're gonna have like Helm of the Conqueror and Hammer of the Sun and Moon. Both these infantry pieces, I'd probably just stay away from. There's not like a huge reason to. I really like the 4-piece imp set. So for cav, we have Pride of the Helm. That's something you should consider picking up. For archers, we have Hydra's Blast. Hydra's Blast is a defense keeper, is really good. It's a good upgraded Golden Age. It's not bad at all. And then for archers, you are either running 6-piece Dragon's Breath or you're running a 222. 222 is going to be KVK Helm, Wet, Milky Way, Ian's Choice, Leadership, Reeves, Leadership Boots, I believe. But you could also run Dragon's Plate Breast and Dragon's Plate Gloves instead of Milky Way and Ian's Choice. But personally, if I were running 2 archer sets, I'd want to run one with 6-piece DB and one with the Milky Way and Ian's Choice, because you're going to find extra of those coming from Lutheran Scrolls or coming from like the Tavern. So these are not a bad pickup by any stretch of the imagination. I want to say like this is pretty significant boost over the epic version of the Archer Helm. So I mean, I don't mind it. I think with my coins here, I do have quite a few. I think I'm gonna have like 7 or 8 by the end of this KVK. I think I personally am going to pick up another Pride of the Con. So right now I have 2 sets of infantry equipment, I have 2 sets of archer equipment, and 1 set of cav equipment. I want to have a second set of cav equipment, so I'll have 222, and I'll just swap off whichever commanders are like out of the meta. So if I have to run 2 amp, 2 archer, 1 cav, and then like a good cav comes out, then I'll drop an archer, I'll drop an infantry. So I want to make sure I have another Pride of the Con, and I think I want probably Hydra's Blast and Ancestral Mask of Night. I think that's probably a good pickup for me as well. For the infantry stuff, I don't know. I don't think I'll never pick it up. It's just like, it's very hard for me to justify because movement speed is just so good in this meta. But long story short, if you guys didn't really listen to anything, pick up Pride of the Con, call it a day. Over here, we're gonna have the Inscription Shot. I think that if you can get the Autarch Limited, being able to pick up Hunter is awesome. Just a great pickup in general. We like Hunter a lot. On the flip side of that, down here in the non-limited, I believe this was a mistake when I picked up Robust. Robust is not bad. I just don't know if it's necessarily what I'm looking for, because this only applies to legendary scrolls. It doesn't apply to other things. So realistically, like if you have a legendary scroll that you'd think is good enough to inscribe, you should probably just wait to inscribe it with Hunter. I don't really see a good reason to inscribe it with Robust, and a Conquest coin is really expensive. These are not super easy to get, and like if I was really just blowing Conquest coins, like I'd want more Prides of the Cons, I want Sacred Dominion, I want a Mask of Night, I want Hydra's Blast. Eventually I'm going to be refining. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get with these Conquest coins that is not non-limited stuff. Hunter is generally what I'd pick up here, basically no matter how many times you do it. Down here, Pride of the Con is good. Up here, we want Ring of Doom, we want Horn of Fury. Maybe on your 3rd or 4th SOC, then you can pick up like a Twilight Falls for your open field marches. I would generally always get equipment materials choice chests, the transmutation stones. If you have the extra, probably not a bad pickup. And the legendary commander sculptures. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna pick these up or not. I know some of you may be like questioning like, oh, Persian Dream, it gives you like 3% healing speed or something. It's just not that good. It's not like horrible. I did the math on it, and I believe like if you're using like, I think if you're using like 3 years of speeds at its most efficient, like you're gaining like a week of speeds. Now, if you're way less efficient, so if you're not collecting like a healing rune, if you're not using a healing buff, if you're not like waiting for helps, like if you are a highly inefficient player, then Persian Dream is actually way better. I don't know, I guess if you suck at the game, maybe a better investment, but you know, you could just be better at the game and that'd probably be okay. Anyway, long rambling video. Point is, this is what I would buy in the shop. That's what I look at. That's my thoughts on the shop. If you guys enjoy content like this, please consider dropping a like, a comment, consider subscribing. If you guys want to help support the channel, please consider donating to the Streamlabs link in the description below. I do private coaching, which is $35 for an on-stream session or $75 for an off-stream session. If you guys are interested in that type of thing, make sure you go to that Discord in the description below and make a ticket. With that being said, boys, I'm gonna get out of here. Have yourselves an absolutely great one, and I hope this helped.